Doing. It's Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome back to another live here on YouTube. Happy to be here. Happy to be with you in this moment. And let me get my settings just right like I like them, okay? You know what I'm saying? You have to be a subscriber to hit the chat. You're more than welcome if you got nothing but positive energy and good vibes to share. Grown folks only. That's a new. That's always been the rule or the expectation, I should say. But I just going into 26 when I'm live and I ask folks, if people jump into the chat and I say, hey, where you from? Where you at? Give me your age range. You don't have to say your exact age. I don't care. I just want to know 20s, 30s, 40s, age range. And I always start at 20s because that's my expected audience. 20s and up. Quite frankly, teenagers and everything, I know I have an audience. I'm not going to, neglect or deflect or not expect that audience. I do expect that audience to be here with some of the stuff that I post. It would appeal to them. It's going to get their attention. They're going to want to check it out. And that's cool. Everything is helping us get to our goals. So I appreciate the audience. But I always say our channel is like PG-13 and up. And primarily grown, like R-rated. I mean, that's most of what it is really just mostly that. And the way I like to say, the way you can look at this channel and our, you look at the entire network even, and from day one when we were just a Comic-Con, we always had the intention or being a family event that understood the parents that come is the main audience. The kids that come are the secondary audience. We were never a kid event, you know what I'm saying? When I was doing my convention, it wasn't like, playtime with ONYXCON. I mean, like, we had an area for kids. We love the kids. We want the kids to grow up into this thing and love all the parts, but we were under no illusions that what we were making was not Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying? It was at best it was Dave and Buster's. You know what I'm saying? It was Dave and Buster's where, at a certain time of night, all the kids got to be out. And even when the kids don't have to be out, adults could still, purchase their adult beverages, and plenty of adults come there and enjoy all the games and everything. It's like, that's kind of, I think that's a good comparison to the way our audience was and still is, or intended audience is. It's like a Dave and Buster's concept, It's like, the whole family's welcome to come, but from the start now, our primary demographic is the grown folks who come in the door with the money to pay to get in the first place. Like, that's the audience, like, straight up. That is the audience, So I just want to make that clear more and more into 26. Because I know my audience is growing with a higher number of, I ain't gonna say higher number. I know I have, like I say, a small but active young audience, and I like I say, love y'all too, appreciate y'all too. But I hope your parents know you on here, and I hope you understand that. We're not watering nothing down for y'all, because you're not the main audience. You know what I'm saying? Just want to make that very clear. Very clear. I do want y'all to continue to enjoy whatever it is here that you are supposed to enjoy. Okay? Because what I put up for adults is just that. Like, when I tell y'all over and over again, cyberpunk, anything that says cyberpunk as a concept is a very grown folks situation. Period. It's grown. It's grown, and it's grown as hell in its core, and it's what it came out of, what it's supposed to be, what it was inspired by. That whole genre is a very adult concept, because it deals with analyzation of adult actions, of stuff that people do in the world that have created the governments, the corporate structures, the technology, the criminal elements, the cybergenetic implants and medical advances that elevate people to superpower levels and all of this type of thing. All of that whole world is a very, very grown concept, you know, that started in the 60s, I believe it was, the first novel to ever say the phrase. And from there, it kept growing in the 70s. By the time you get to the 80s, it was full blown. By the time you have movies like Blade Runner that came out and were the inspiration to the man himself, Michael Pondsmith, who created Cyberpunk 2077, and before that game ever even existed, the tabletop game, which is where he, you know, sourced everything. And then CD Projekt Red are coming to him and, you know, wanting to make it into the game that we all love, and that of course gave birth to Edge Runners, the Netflix animation, which I'm looking forward to the second season. It's supposed to be dropping sometime this year. I can't wait for that. Like I always say, that's gonna be my reason for even getting Netflix back on my TV, because I saved that money. I don't have Netflix right now. It's too damn expensive. Like, no, hell no. But when I can, I will, because I definitely don't want to miss that when it comes out. I gotta be there for that. But as we all wait with heavy anticipation of the next chapter of the Cyberpunk 2077 world with Cyberpunk 2, or Cyberpunk Orion as it was originally called as a working name, you know, I see all the hype videos, and I kind of grin from ear to ear thinking, man, I'm on the right track to just keep doing what I'm doing, because there's a lot of channels completely dedicated to just Cyberpunk. And it amazes me that this still is a thing, that, you know, this one niche channel concept. I've never thought that was a smart business move. And I sometimes feel sorry for those folks, because I think it must be real stressful every day to just repeat yourself with 2 or 3 little tidbits of information, and have to edit these videos and just keep repeating, just keep saying the same thing over and over. Oh, you know, we're all waiting on Cyberpunk. 5 years from now, man. Like, it's literally like people talk about, what's your 5-year plan? 5-year plan is to live long enough to play Cyberpunk 2. Like, I hope you're doing more than that. Like, I mean, I'm with you. I want to see it too. I want to play it too. I don't see myself, you know, losing interest in gaming and not playing it. Absolutely, I'm looking forward, right? But the key word is forward. So I'm gonna keep making other moves. I'm gonna keep playing other games that are, you know, great or should be great when they come out, if I can afford to play those games and all that, you know. But I'm not gonna like literally make a whole channel dedicated to a game that, after you said everything you could say about the one that already exists, okay, well, we don't know what that next one's gonna look like. We don't. You know, if you don't work for CD Projekt Red, if you don't have any intel, and even if you do, you know, NDAs are real, non-disclosure agreements are real. You don't play with that information if you're part of the business. I know this from being in the film biz for 12 years, you know? I mean, what, is it 13 now? We're 26, hold on, let me count them years. Let me see, so started about 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, oh my God, it is, it's 13 years now. I need to start saying that. I done got in the habit of saying 12. I need to start telling folks, yeah, I've been in the film biz, man, for 13 years. Even though I haven't technically had any activity this year so far, I expect it. And I do expect to be back on set on something, hopefully soon, with the projects I have and could be involved with again, you know. In addition to any possibility of new, because there's always that, you know, once you're on somebody's registry, once you're in the loop, in the community, so to speak, and you built a name for yourself, as I have, people know who you are. They'll check in with you when they need you. They will holler, and it's literally just like that. It's like, I'm gonna be riding along right now and get a text from somebody, you know, one good buddy of mine that always gets me work. He don't say much. All he gonna say is, are you available? That's it. That's all the text gonna say. It ain't gonna say nothing about what it is. I don't have to ask. I know if it's him, it's some heavy stuff, I'll be like, yes. Yes, let's what up? Then I ask, now what is it? What you know, what's the pay rate? What days we going from? Yes. hell yes. Get me out of this courier stuff and get me back on movie sets. I can't wait. Hell yeah. If I can do that, please, please, get me back where I'm supposed to be. Can't wait to be. Need to be. Every day longing to be. Straight up. But like, even with that, like, the anticipation of trying to get those kind of gigs, it's a lot like the fandom of waiting on these games. It's like, man, you can't, life goes on. You can't be, so I can't make a whole channel like that. I don't, like I said, I don't understand when people do that and only that, like literally a whole channel dedicated to one game. That's it. That's all you talk about. And the game ain't got nothing new for you for 5 years. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me to be just that dedicated to that point. It's nothing wrong with the dedication. To me, it's something wrong with not expanding your brand. Like, why not? That's when you need to be into a bunch of other games too, because gaming folk are gonna like similar things. Like today, I started off. I was waiting before I started this order that I'm about to get, and I said, let me hop on and go live, play a few. So I'm always playing R-Type, Final Evolved, because I'm trying to beat this one stage that is just, I swear, it just kicks me all around, man. I hate it. It really pisses me off because the game doesn't allow damage. It's just one tap, you're done. You hit the things that you can't hit, boom, your ship is gone. And it's like, golly, how cruel. Like, I made it how far to get tapped by, anybody can have a moment of mistake. There should be a damage. I've always said that on that game. That's the thing that made, I really feel like that's why the game folded. Like, they said they made the last one with the one I'm playing. And I can see why. I mean, the game is like, what, maybe, it's some years old. I don't even remember how many years. It's years old, many years. And it's like, yeah, I can see why you can't make another one, or even as many fans of it like myself that grew up on R-Type. I can remember the first R-Type. Literally, like, I remember playing it at a Wally World in Union City. If you're from Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. When you first come in, they have maybe 4 video games at the front. And they have one of them grabber machines where you grab the toys and stuff, you can win stuff, and maybe a few little vending machines and stuff like that at the very front. We walked in with the, and they don't even make Wally Worlds look like that no more, the way this one looked. But this is the one where, you had that little, I guess you could say, lobby area. It really ain't a lobby. It was literally, there's a little small gap between the front doors and the actual doors into the store. But it was big enough space to put a few vending machines and video games. And so they had R-Type. And that's the first time, as I remember it in my mind, playing it on the stand-up. And I used to love that. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of quarters that went into that machine, and I always remember the classic alien monster boss, the one that kind of looked like Pumpkinhead from the horror movies, and had that larvae style body and all this stuff. Like, yo, it was ill. And it was all, you could see alien xenomorph references in a lot of the. Okay, I had to go get my facts, y'all. I had to go get my facts. I don't like to be Okay. So as I was saying, it was called. As I was saying, it was called Dawn of Titans, and you play basically as a battle war game, big armies and stuff, and you got different factions of your army, different sections. You got your you got mysticism and stuff. You got spells you can cast. You got your basic infantry. You got your special units. You got your mounted characters on the back of big panthers. These guys, this certain group of elf folk. You had these other dwarf type characters they throw fireballs, and then you got these other ones. They're like the reason they even call it Dawn of Titans. You have Titans that are these huge giant characters that could just stomp over a whole army, swing a club, hit the ground, and blast out 20 guys, just would lay them out. So it was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was one of them games. And like I said, I played this for years. And the thing I noticed from playing that was how, because it was a free to play game, but you couldn't get just like all free to play games, you couldn't get the best powers and stuff unless you spent money. Or put it like this, you get them, but you're going to spend months playing and earning them to get them for free, to get the spells, to get the whatever, to get all the different, power-ups and stuff. And they would have special things monthly, contests and things. Like if you can beat this, if you win this, you get this, and you could win a Titan, or you spend these little treasure chests, and they open, and I got so and so. I can't believe it. He's one of the top Titans. He's a level 5, and all I had was level 2s and 1s. Okay, so it was that kind of game. Like most of these games like that, I like that. And it was a really, just conceptually, it was beautiful. It was so rich with story and character lore, and it was just a brilliant. It could be a movie. I always said that should be a movie. Really great stuff, right? But then it never got past this point where I think the biggest problem a lot of them games suffer all the time. They all do this. When the wealthy folk who can spend the money early come in, they mess the game up. Because they're not necessarily skilled players. They probably, a lot of them are casual because they have to be they're in the workforce. But they're the rich workforce. So they're the corporate guy who, they doing it between, they're supposed to be listening in the meeting and they playing the game, and then they got to get off and do it, the meeting or whatever. Those types of folks, if they're not really that good at it or don't even care, hold on right quick, y'all.